A man on probation for assaulting his wife is ordered to have absolutely no contact with her. He pleads true to violating that order, claiming their contact was consensual and that they were trying to save their marriage. But when the judge calls the victim to the stand, her testimony reveals a terrifying story of coercion, threats, and fear that changes everything. This is the case of the state of Texas versus David Edward Hernandez.
What is calling 2021 CR 1005W, State of Texas versus David Edward Hernandez. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Raymond Matthews.
And are you Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you a document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same David Edward Hernandez who was placed on deferred adjudication 2021 CR 1005W for the offense of assault family second on February 3rd, 2021 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 1, on or about the 9th day of February 2022 in Beauregard County, Texas, the defendant David Edward Hernandez committed the offense of violation of bond or protective order in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
It's true.
State.
Violated condition number 21, on or about the 9th day of February 2022 in Beauregard County, Texas, the defendant David Edward Hernandez has been in their contact or attempt to contact Savannah Hernandez or a family member by telephone, mail, or in person in violation of condition number 21.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
That is true, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violations of conditions 1 and 21, the court could find it true, grant the motion to find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of conditions 1 and 21?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there an agreement?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
State is asking for revocation in this case, Your Honor. This is a case where he's been placed on probation for a violent offense against a previous girlfriend, that being the person listed in violation of condition number 21, Savannah Hernandez, which, as you can see, linking up condition number 1 and condition number 21. This is the same person he's on probation for. He's not supposed to be contacting. The same person sitting in this courtroom today. Because, obviously, up until the day we were set for contested. We're asking for revocation in the sense that you just can't leave this person alone. And at this point, the state feels that in order to secure the safety of the victim, we're asking for revocation because hopefully prison will be the impediment at this point because probation wasn't enough for the defendant to stop contacting Savannah.
All right, defense.
Judge, Mr. Hernandez is actually Mr. Hernandez's ex-wife. They just finalized a divorce in February or March of this year. The evidence that we would have presented today, Judge, and we saw witnesses in the court that could present is that these parties have engaged in a consensual conduct with each other on an ongoing basis, even since the protective order was granted, because they were legally married. We've shared with the state text messaging back and forth, phone calls, Facebook posts, But Mr. Hernandez ultimately decided to plead true because I've made it clear to him that regardless of whether she consents or does not, regardless of whether she invites him to her house or not, that he's not allowed by law to do that. And so instead of spending the court's time defending why he was having contact with her, he decided to plead true and explain to the court that's what was happening. There was a period of time between the time the protective order was granted and the time the divorce was granted this year, which is about a year, that there was discussions and attempts made at reconciliation. And again, Judge, he clearly understands after much consultation with me that she cannot waive the effects of the protective order. She cannot voluntarily agree with him that it doesn't apply anymore. And so all that's crystal clear at this point, Judge. As a matter of fact, we've shared with the state that on the date in question when Mr. Hernandez was arrested for the MTR that was issued by the court, that they were in the same car together. That in fact, she drove his car home or wherever she took it after they separated. I think she now understands that her conduct in that regard is also placing him in danger. Judge, he spent some days in jail on the motion to revoke probation. As you can see from the motion itself, these are the only violations he has in over a year on probation.
So what the court doesn't understand is I know on the document sheet, which I wrote, I said, no contact with Savannah Hernandez. And I know when I place people on probation and there's no contact, I always tell them that relationship is over. What part did your client not understand when I said that relationship is over? That's what I don't understand, because I tell people your relationship is over. Get an orchid because you're not ready for a relationship. So I'm trying to figure out what part of my order that he was not to have contact with her did he not understand?
I think the part he did not understand, Judge, is when she invites him to her house, when she says she's not ready to get a divorce, when she responds to communications that is not an exception to the orders of the court. And the reason we're set for contested hearing today, the reason we reset this matter a couple of times is me going through all of the history and explaining all that to him, that none of that is a legal significance to this court. And thus his decision that I'm going to plead true, because I get it.
There should be a witness that's called before the court so that I can discover why there is being contact when I order no contact. And the court would like to know if the complainant, and I don't have any jurisdiction over the complainant, but I would like to know if the complainant was okay with this defendant violating this court's orders by, you said, being in the car with him, trying to make their marriage work. I would like to know this before I make my ruling.
I certainly can't speak for her, Judge. All I can tell you.
Well, someone needs to call a witness so I can make an informed decision.
I wouldn't have to do that, Judge.
She's here,
All
so
right,
she can testify.
yeah, I would like to know what's going on and why the court's orders are not being followed and why adults can't understand what I mean when I say a relationship is over and there's to be no contact.
Would you, and the state can call her as a witness and say we'll call Savannah. Do you want her to testify here?
Yeah, she can move over there and Mr.
And the state would call, for purpose of the record, Savannah Hernandez, previously known as Savannah Hernandez.
All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand.
Ms. Hernandez, as far as your contact and your communications with David are concerned, were those consensual interactions?
I apologize to that I might lose my composure. Entire marriage was him making the decisions and me submitting to everything and anything that he said. Meeting may have been okay. Let's go sign the divorce papers so we can get this over. But when I asked him to leave, he wouldn't leave. And almost every encounter was just for his gratification.
Did you, after you was placed on probation, did you intend or did you wish to have further communications with him?
No,
And were there times or periods of time where he would repeatedly call you?
yes,
And just by example, how many times in a row would he call you and you wouldn't answer?
a minimum of 30 if I was at work or driving.
And would he continue to call you until you answered the phone?
Yes,
And again, this is all after he was placed on probation in this court.
correct.
And the contacts that you've had with him, whether that be via text message, social media, in person, or by phone, did you feel that you had a choice in whether you had to communicate with him or not?
No,
And why is that?
because even if I said no, he was still gonna come. His threats to me were real.
Ms. Jimenez, you're aware that the allegation is that he made contact on February the 9th of this year, is that correct?
Yes.
Isn't it true that what caused that to come to light was that he had a picture of himself sitting in your living room in your apartment?
I did not see any picture.
Okay. And he sent that picture to a person that you were in a relationship with, and that's what caused the fuss. Is that fair or no?
No,
So you had to have reported the violation, or we wouldn't know about it, correct? So on February the 8th this year, was Mr. Hernandez sitting in your living room, and he has a picture of the two of you sitting in your living room.
the picture I did not know was taken. I did not give consent for him to take a picture of me or to send it to anybody, which he sent it to at least a minimum of 8 people. And it was because he had already finished his gratification tonight. And he was sitting there and I had asked him to leave repeatedly and he wouldn't. I have to threaten him every time with calling the cops. I did not want him to go to jail, but he doesn't comprehend it. That's the only thing that I can think of. And his mindset is and I'm not gonna.
Now, Ms. Jimenez, we're talking about your apartment, correct?
Yes,
So he can only get in there if you let him in, correct?
yes. Every time he came, it was just banging until he came. And the only time that he did leave was when I called the cops because he saw me calling 911 and I was standing in front of the window when he left.
But we don't have a police report from this incident in Ukraine, correct?
That happened on the same day.
So you're saying that you can't, while he's locked out and can't get inside the apartment, you can't call the police and have them remove him?
I did. That's why he left. That's the only time that he left.
Now, in reference to the text messages, we've shared with the state and the state shared with you printouts of text messages, very many text messages. True or not true?
Very mean or
Very many.
I did not see, but yes, I saw some paperwork.
So tell us how he's forcing you to respond to text messages.
He told me that if I didn't do what he said, he was gonna kill both of my grandmas and leave me alive to suffer and not kill me because he knew that would kill me.
And Miss Jimenez, when have you shared that particular story with anyone?
I didn't want to have to share any of these stories. I did not want to have to tell people that he forced himself to have sex with me. That's the only reason why he wanted to continue our marriage or our relationship. I did not want to have to tell anybody. He had threatened to kill my family. I did not want to say all of this, but I know I have to. I have to because he was getting worse because I was trying to make it stop and he wouldn't stop. I'm sorry to take it so much. He was gonna try to take my job and show my family pictures of me being indecent. Nobody wants.
Does she need a break?
Nobody wants that.
Do you need a minute or you can
I can continue.
I mean, Miss Jimenez, on the last date that Mr. Hernandez was arrested, you were in the car with him, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you guys were going on base, Lackland Air Force Base, where he has to show ID and go through security guards,
It
correct?
is correct, yes.
And when they arrested him that day, you left in his vehicle, didn't you?
Yes, I did. He asked me to.
Okay. And not only did you leave in his vehicle, but you had his wallet with you, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you proceeded to use his debit cards and his credit cards.
That is correct.
Okay. And so, a man that you're so deathly afraid of, it didn't stop you from taking money out of his accounts.
That is correct.
Was I accurate that the divorce between the two of you just got finalized a few months ago?
In March, yes, before the date that you're talking about.
Not only did he come into your apartment, but there were occasions where you drove over to his house of your own volition.
I did not have a vehicle. No.
So the only time you drove to his house was when you had his vehicle.
When he picked me up. Yes.
But you see, my point is that you could have told those security guards at the front gate as you're going in that you were being held against your will or that you were being kidnapped or anything of the sort?
I only agreed to it because I knew that would happen. I needed help.
And you agree with me that none of these things that you're sharing, a lot of these things you're sharing with the court today do not appear in any police report because you never made those.
No, I never did.
Mr. Martinez is talking about using the debit cards and the credit cards after he was arrested, trying to enter Lackland Air Force. I'm sorry, it's Lackland Air Force Base. Can you explain to the court why you used his debit cards or credit cards?
We had already made plans to go to the bowling alley and to go to the movie theater. Since day one has been decisions that he's made. Never have I once been on his bank account. I have never had a debit card in my name. My both jobs were direct deposited into his bank account. So I never had any money. This was our typical form of me being access to his money is using his card. I never had anything in my name. No decisions were made of my own choice. It was whatever he said.
Okay, and specifically, you said your divorce was not finalized until March of this year.
Yes.
Around February 19th of 2022 to this year, were your money still being deposited into his accounts?
All of my money had always gone to his account for both of them. The checking account was only his VA compensation, and my money was going to his savings account. We had my checks going into his account, and what we had decided or spoken about, the main reason how he was able to allow me to temporarily trust him was to get this divorce finalized. That reason for everything to stop, I didn't know how to make it stop.
Okay. But as far as February 19th of 2022 is concerned, at that point you were in divorce proceedings, correct?
Yes.
And so is there a reason you didn't have your money deposited to a separate account to use?
For the accounts, I did set up a chime in my name, maybe 4 paycheck cycles for that change to go over. So we had agreed that he would keep the house because he had nowhere else to go. And I said that was fine. And it had initially started because he had a relationship with another woman. And I had said, okay, I'm going to be the bigger person and let her stay there as long as she pays half of the mortgage. And he said, my lawyer said that I have to financially support you until it is final and over. Whether that's a true statement or not, I'm not sure, but that's what he had informed me of. So that's the only reason why I continue to use his card like I had been before for the whole entire relationship.
See, Minutes, I thought you and Mr. Hernandez worked out the divorce by yourselves without the benefit of any lawyers.
He used your name all the time. I'm not sure if he paid for anybody or not.
Well, would you agree there's no lawyers' names that appear in the divorce?
That is correct.
So if we were to look at the bank statements that we provided to the state, we're gonna find your deposits going in there and you regularly using those funds. That's about that.
There's no, so there's no way for anybody to know whether I swiped it or whether he swiped it, but that's, yes, typically I had no other access to my funding. There was no card in my name. So I'm not sure how you want me to answer that question, but yes, that's the typical. I didn't have any card to use that was in my name to pay any of the bills or to buy stuff at HEB. So that's how I would pay for things.
Would you agree with me, Ms. Jimenez, that one of the things that you charged on the card when Mr. Hernandez was in jail was a dinner at a restaurant for $100?
No. I went to Burger King. I went to the movies. I had popcorn there. I went to HEB. I went to a Mexican restaurant. I did not have a fancy, extravagant, romantic dinner with another party. No, there's no extravagant restaurant.